The liver solution. So excited. We are about to go from fatty liver, broken down liver, toxic liver, struggling cholesterol, and all the symptoms that come with it to hopefully restoration in your life. This is a massive problem that is growing almost faster than any other disease, and you're about to get the 4 simple solutions to boost that liver health so you can restore it and get the hardest working organ in your body some relief. It's arguably right up there with the heart. We're breaking that down. So if you are regularly taking over-the-counter medications like aspirin or Tylenol, or even like a cough or a cold syrup, if you're a prescription drug user, maybe you're treating joint issues or high blood pressure or high cholesterol or digestive problems or prostate problems or sleep problems, if you're over the age of 40, if you drink 2 or more glasses of alcohol a week, if you eat a lot of fast foods, if you're exposed to chemicals or pollutants at work, or you use sprays and aerosol products like around your house commonly, or if you're often experiencing like extreme tiredness, or you're struggling with weight in your midsection, or you're dealing maybe with unexplainable aches and pains in your body. Even if you haven't had your liver enzymes and the tests done yet, these are early warning signs of an overworked liver. In fact, the American Heart Association said it's a staggering 1 out of 4 Americans suffering with liver issues right now. I will show you those numbers are even higher, but that is why I'm going to share with you my 4-step system for liver solution. It naturally protects, purifies, and rapidly cleanses your liver of every form of the toxins, the alcohols, the excess maybe drugs or chemicals that are in you to help you to regain youthful energy, to enjoy clearer, better looking skin. Skin health is very tightly related to the liver. Fires up your fat burning metabolism so then you can feel and look almost 10 to 15 years younger. So many people struggling with liver health, the organ on the inside that you can't see. I know the appearance on the outside might not be what you want, but I'm concerned with the organs on the inside. What you can't see, that's what gets you in harm. So here's how the liver solution works. When it comes to your liver, most people just think it helps filter out like alcohol out of your body. And they think if they don't drink or something, that's it. But that's really only a tiny aspect of what the liver does for you. Take weight loss, for example. Most people know about the importance of your metabolism and how it starts to slow down oftentimes when you get older. But what most people don't seem to comprehend is that your liver is the #1 fat burning organ in your body. Every single day, your liver, when it's healthy, produces a full quart of yellowish green fluid called bile that breaks down the fat you eat. And if you don't have a gallbladder, I'll break that down for you as well, what to do. But think of bile as a detergent that gets rid of grease from your dishwasher and your dishes. Without enough bile, you could run on a treadmill every day, eat healthy, and still not lose weight because the body can't break down the fat without the bile. So your liver also regulates blood sugar levels. This is very crucial. It's the #1 place when you start cutting back on sugars that's impacted first. It prevents dangerous spikes, highs and lows, filters harmful toxins and substances, including alcohol, but out of nearly 100 gallons of blood every day, it's got to work to filter that, allowing vital nutrients to get to your cells. And just to put in perspective how important this is, if your liver didn't continually remove metabolic trash and toxins from your blood, your body would be dead in a matter of hours. In addition to that, your liver also produces more than 13,000 crucial chemicals and hormones, including cholesterol, including testosterone, including estrogen, and it manages 50,000 enzymes to keep you healthy. It stores essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, B12, to keep your bones from crumbling and keep you energized. Your liver is the largest, hardest working organ, and most important possibly when it comes to your health. But most people just completely ignore it, and it's really bad news because when your liver gets overworked, everything in your body starts to break down. Your liver gets worse at dissolving fats, it causes weight gain. Fat levels increase in your blood, which makes your blood more sticky. Then you struggle to have the blood travel through your veins and your vessels. Your blood pressure and your cholesterol go higher. They're directly correlated oftentimes with liver problems. Hundreds of dangerous toxins end up escaping your liver and the protective filters of it, and then they start bleeding into and leaking into your bloodstream. That triggers antibodies to try to wipe them out, which then increases inflammation and creates autoimmune issues. It creates joint pain. It creates chronic fatigue, brain fog, and a lot of different skin issues as your body tries to push the toxins through the skin and the pores of your skin because it can't exit it through the liver. And while all that is bad, I think the part that really catches people when it comes to liver health is the mistaken belief. Oh, I don't need to worry about my liver because I'm not an alcoholic, or I don't take many medications, or because while it is true that drinking alcohol or using medications will overwork your liver even more, just breathing in our world today with all the pollutions we have means your liver is under constant attack through environmental pollutions like cigarette smoke, car exhaust, chemical food additives, household chemicals, sprays, hair dyes, disinfectants, fluoride, chlorine, heavy metals in the drinking water, not to mention toxic pesticides and bug repellents that we're using on fruits and vegetables and all over the place. 100 million people, you can Google this, 100 million adults just in the United States have fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. 46%. 46% of adults have this. And our remedy oftentimes, like 1.2 million people every year cut out a vital organ. God didn't mess up. He put them all in there for a reason. Even if we think the appendix is insignificant, even if we can survive with one kidney or no gallbladder, they're still all incredibly important. Now, I'm not making you feel bad if you don't have a gallbladder. I'm going to show you what to do and what is absolutely crucial if you don't have one. But 1.2 million people, the solution is just cut organs out? 1.2 every year. Over the next year, almost 15 million people are going to have their gallbladder cut out. Can we evolve a little bit and help you to clean that up and actually get healthy and save an organ? I want to know who the first person was to do that. You're like, you know what? I think we could just clip it. I think it just come right out. See how the person does. Maybe they don't even need it. I wouldn't have the conas to do that. So that can't be the only solution. Listen, I have family members with them removed. My dad had his appendix out. I get it. Like, I know there's a place for that. If you have a medical emergency, something ruptures, totally different. I totally understand the medical side of it. We got enough of that. You agree? I think you're here because we have enough medications, we have enough surgeries, we have enough of that thing. You're here because how do we naturally go about fixing this? Because 100 million people, with the statistics, 46% of you under the sound of my voice right now are dealing with this, and a lot of you are going to be at risk of getting your gallbladder cut out or scared, and then you cut your gallbladder out, and those numbers are on the rise crazy fast. It's going to be at 56% in 15 years. 56% of people. These are skyrocketing. So we got to get ahead of it, number one. How can you tell? Really simply, are you at any kind of risk? Is your liver on the downtrend? Okay, here's what I would test immediately. Okay, at your next appointment, you want your AST and your ALT measured. If you're on a prescription medication, you better be measuring these all the time. I think it'd be negligence for a doctor not to, because they're drugs that can harm. So many of them have liver side effects. Statin drug users usually are required to test this number. Why? Because drugs like that specifically damage the liver. If you're taking NSAIDs regularly, test these numbers, AST, ALT. You want them to be not in the abnormal range. Look at your blood sugar. It's crucial important. Keeping that thing at our 100 below should be a target. It impacts way too many diseases. Fasting insulin. This is a big one that a lot of you probably don't test, but they can easily do this on you. It should be between 2 and 6. Mine just recently was at 4. Triglycerides. You want those below 100. Your body, your liver is getting way too much fructose, way too much carbohydrates, way too many calories, and it's got to deal with it. So it attaches these glycerides, these sugars, to fat, and it puts it in your blood. So you have an overconsumption and eating the wrong food problem if this is high. And then ferritin. Ferritin is a direct measurer that the liver is struggling a bit. If it's up above 150, you'll want to consider giving some blood, and you'll want to consider implementing what I'm talking about today. There's your warning signs, there's your blood test. But here's something super interesting. Do you know if you are one of the diagnosed, right? If you're one of these numbers right here, 100 million Americans, 46%, on its way to 56%. Do you know what the treatment, and if you went to your medical doctor, the protocol for fixing your liver is? Any guesses? Can't cut it out. Not like the gallbladder. Can't live without it. You get extremely bad, you get a transplant, but that's extreme cases. Anything else? There isn't one. It's health. Let's go to Mayo Clinic. The first line of treatment is weight loss, healthy diet, exercise. It is the one disease that I have ever seen that they're like, Big Pharma can't come up with something for that one, because if you gave it a drug, you would make it worse. Now, they're going to try something. They're going to try to impact the blood sugar, and then if you impact the blood sugar, then it's going to impact the liver fat numbers, like rest assured. But this is one that Big Pharma doesn't have cracked, because you can't give their solutions because too many side effects. I've never seen this condition like this before. They're literally saying, yeah, we should probably give you like an eating plan. You need to move and lose weight, and I don't know what to do. I can't write a prescription for that. Nothing. Transplant if it gets bad enough. Health, health, health. You got to get healthier. You got to choose better. I'm going to show you exactly the foods that your liver loves. Soak them right up. I'm going to show you the list of drugs that your liver hates. We're going to go through what do we eat, what do we not eat, what do we put in, not put in. This should be handed out to 100 million Americans. 46% of all adults should get what you're about to get right now with these 4 solutions. Health. So you can see how big of a liver problem we have. But here's the great news. Your liver is the only organ in your body that has the ability to completely regenerate itself. It has the ability. I'm not saying that's guaranteed, that's happening, that this training is going to get you there, but it has the ability. The greatest doctor in the world is in your liver. It can heal, which means if you give your liver the health boost it needs, needs, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. Your liver can literally go from looking like this to this, which is what most people's livers look like once they get past the age of 40 with all the onslaught and the liver function begins to slow down. We want to get it back to this and rejuvenate it, which is probably what it looked like when it was 20. When your metabolism burned calories at an amazing speed and you could eat whatever you want and you didn't put on any weight and your skin was super clear and energy was through the roof and unlimited. That's why when you help your liver to completely regenerate in this way, it really does feel like you've turned back the clock inside your body, because you start to get fat burning metabolism back and greater energy and stronger immunity and better looking skin, healthier blood sugar levels and cholesterol levels, and improve your thinking speed. We're going to show you how it impacts your brain, and all kinds of annoying health problems like headaches and allergies and low moods, they kind of seem to disappear. And how after seeing the huge range of benefits from improving the liver health and what it gives to people, I just spent the last year and a half really leaning into this. That's why I have so much content on liver health, and there's some of my most popular videos. I could see this is a really big problem. And I was studying institutions like Harvard or Duke, that's right up the road from me, Stanford, Yale, Johns Hopkins. They all put out really good studies to boil this down for you, to make it simple, not a research study, but I will give you all the research on a 4-step system that allows people to boost their liver without drugs or expensive surgeries. And then it helps accelerate that regeneration of your liver so that you can see the results in a matter of days, not months, not years. Here's how it works. Solution number 1, step number 1, we help lower inflammation and insulin. That helps soothe the joint pain along with the swelling in your legs. You heard that from the testimonial videos. Ankles, backs, knees, if you're dealing with that, a lot of swelling, a lot of inflammation, a lot of joint pain. And then it helps prevent NALD, non-alcoholic liver disease. So this is solution number 1. So let's go right after the biggest culprits. This is why there's no treatment for this condition. Drugs that, according to the analysis of data in LiverTox is a database that follows drugs that have an associated more than 100 cases of drug-induced liver injury. I will tell you there's a lot of things, given you being a human being, that could impact someone's liver. You can eat something crazy and it's like, wow, I had a liver thing? That was weird, right? I'm saying these are the very, very common. Everyone is uniquely different. You could come across something you eat from food or whatever, and it could have an interaction. That's not out of the question for anything, for any organ. You know, we have allergic responses. Your liver is not exempt from that. These are the 34 that have had 100 or more specifically recorded cases. So like there's a trend there. These meds right here. There's gout, there's arrhythmias, there's antibiotics, there is bodybuilding steroids. I would tell you there's some bodybuilding supplements that can do this as well. And there's some weight loss supplements that contain usnic acid, USNIC acid, that can do this as well. But a lot of these are statins, immunosuppressives, cancer medications, anti-epileptics, psychosis, birth control, muscle relaxants, NSAIDs, antimicrobials, analgesics, antihypertensives, antifungals. There's the list. These right here, known impactors to create problems. But the number 1 cause, acetaminophen, leading cause of liver failure in the United States. So many medications and over-the-counter drugs contain this. If you are using or exceeding 4,000 milligrams of acetaminophen in a day, and especially if you're drinking alcohol, you are crushing your liver. You are asking for it to look like this. And this is so common. So we've got to remove NSAIDs right out of the gates. How do we minimize the damage to the liver? Like cut off the significant damage. We know alcohol, we know drugs. Okay, so that's recreational drug use, it's prescription drug use. They're all the same to me. They're all drugs, right? That's why we have people abusing prescription medications, but over-the-counter ones the same way. So I'm not telling you to throw your medication out. You talk to your doctor to do that. If there's a way for you to improve a condition, or to choose not to have one of those things, or not to abuse one of those things, or it's your choice to do the over-counter ones, is there a better way, easier way to deal with that? Gotta get that under control. For me, it's unequivocally yes, especially when it's coming to like acetaminophen. Like, why don't we just switch to healthy fatty omegas? Omega-3 studies have shown that they increase the breakdown of fat in the liver, leading to a reduction in the accumulation of liver fat, which is consistent with the results of the study. Omega-3s reduce the fat in the liver, a couple of big studies here, and they've been shown if you take them in a dosage of 1,500, then it's equivalent to an NSAID. So like the omega and turmeric, that is my pain reliever. I'll take 2 in the morning, 2 at night. I'm getting 1,500 milligrams of omega-3 on a daily basis. That's equivalent to the acetaminophen, to the NSAID, to these things that we're putting in our body, and they don't have the side effects. Plus, it gives you really good EPA and DHA for your brain, using omegas to leverage instead of over the counter. So if you're like a big pill popper here, maybe you could try substituting here. I know a lot of people that have been able to wean off some of those over the counter meds by using this. Or maybe you need a liquid form. You can get a high dose of the omega if you don't like to swallow the pills. I'm just saying these are some other options outside of popping all of these because we're hurting so much. We've got to lower the the inflammation. Now, what also is raising the inflammation is what you're putting in your mouth. Every single thing you put in your mouth increases the fire. It's gasoline or it's water and it puts the fire out. Everything that goes in, the pill, the food, the drink, it's a big problem. So let me hit on some of the highlights of it. Here's some of the big ones. Packaged foods. All of these chemicals go straight to your liver. Your liver's got to process them. Aspartame, artificial sweeteners, we'll talk about them. MSG, monosodium glutamate. This is what makes you like want to eat more processed food. It's the powder on your fingers when you eat the Cheetos, or it's at the bottom of the Dorito bag. You know what I'm talking about. This is why I say if it comes through a window or makes noise when you open it, it's probably not the best food, especially for your liver. Because of these toxins, they build up, they're excitotoxins, they cause neurons in your brain to excite themselves to death. And they promote spreads of cancers, forms of cancer. These are our packaged and processed food. MSG is just one of the many chemicals found in these packaged foods. Pastas, rice mixes, soups, soup mixes, Campbell's soup, the canned soup, the packaged soup, the hamburger helper boxes. Come on, I grew up on this stuff. Rice-A-Roni. I have crushed so many boxes of those over the years. I used to eat Doritos and chips. I get it. Frozen meals, to-go meals, drive-through meals, loaded with these chemicals. That's why it's a problem. That's why it's exploding, because most of us just eat out now, or we eat quick, or we eat out of a machine. And liver health is exploding when it comes to fatty liver disease. This is a major culprit. So we've got to avoid packaged foods. Now, I believe the best way to do that is to focus on sugars. So many of you could use a sugar fast. Fasting from anything that is high in sugars. Why? Well, when your blood sugar starts to have these problems, there is an increase in blood sugar uptake. Your fat burning goes up. If you start to cut out the second you do, like day 1, day 2, right? You start to lower blood sugar, your fat burning increases, your energy increases, your white blood cell activity increases, and your insulin decreases. So the second you begin a sugar fast, you say, I'm not having packaged foods. If you go one layer above, you just start cutting out the carbohydrates, not gluten that we're focused on, not just wheat that we're focused on, not just grain. Like if you take, okay, everything that falls in the carbohydrate bucket eliminates gluten, eliminates the chemicals, eliminates packaged foods, eliminates fast foods, you're getting carbohydrates. So if you just make the rule a little bit higher, cut back on the sugar. This cleans up so much of your diet and eliminates so much toxicity. Now you could probably figure out a way to go to Chick-fil-A and still have something that doesn't have as many carbohydrates in it. It's very tough though, because you're gonna get bad fats, you're gonna get chemicals, you're gonna get additives somewhere, okay? But as soon as you start to do that, that's what happens. Then, after you're like a week in, blood sugar starts to stabilize, your immune system increases, weight loss increases, your mood and your serotonin increase, your insulin resistance starts to go down, inflammation goes down. That's what we want. This is where the liver starts regenerating. You need less medications because you're hurting less and there's less blood sugar and there's less blood pressure rises. Your red blood cells start turning over and you normalize your blood sugar and your A1C. So this is just after a couple of weeks. Then we start moving into some serious, if you keep going past that point, inflammation stops, your nutrients start absorbing better. You decrease cellular damage, plaquing decreases, AGE, advanced glycated end products. This is why I tell you not to overheat your foods. Don't fry things. You can't eat those fried foods, those burnt foods. AGE, advanced glycated end products, ages you faster and inflames you. But that goes down when you start cleaning up your foods. Oxidation slows down. That's huge for cholesterol. Toxins slow down. Infections slow down. Then if you keep going and do this for a month or 2 months or 3 months, you really start hitting some serious cellular repair. The permeability of nutrients moving into your cells, toxins moving out, really starts to repair. The DNA repairs. Blood vessel strength repairs. Blood thickness decreases. Blood pressure, cholesterol decrease. Stress decreases. Insomnia decreases. This is the importance of fasting from sugars, because when you're eating healthy, not just low carb, not just keto, not just paleo, not just Atkins, clean eating, right? The difference here, the clean eating, removing packaged foods, not just focused on gluten. Don't just buy a version of a packaged food that has less gluten in it. Like really focusing on, okay, what contains X amount of sugars, and I'm gonna fast from it. I'm gonna cut carbs out. I'm gonna cut things that spike sugar levels and inherently pick clean options. Because then when you're cutting that stuff out, you also wanna make sure you're not using the nasty substitutes. Because what will happen in the diet industry is they'll just teach you, go low carb, but then you're eating, like, I see so many social media influencers promoting artificial sweeteners instead, or just pounding down dairy, or just to get like protein in. Like we bend so many rules in the names of just low carb, fasting the sugars out of your body in a healthy way. Here's the difference, right? When you start to break down, I have an entire video of this, by the way, 25 sweeteners, their comparisons, their problems, their benefits. Like when you look at the forms of sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup, this is the fastest way to get fatty liver. There's no benefit. It's all danger. If you injected it into your blood, it would kill you. you. Somehow you can eat it through your mouth and you survive, but it kills your liver slowly. All these forms of sugar lead to metabolic disease, which is fatty liver. But then we try to jump to artificial sweeteners and it's just the same. Like erythritol took a big hit recently because of its ties of what it does to your blood. Well, a lot of times there's artificial additives to it, or there's heavy processing heavy metals, or it's GMO. That's why, because it's so processed. But when you look at aspartame and sucralose and ACE-K and saccharin's a coal tar derivative. Cancer links. These are really hard on your liver. So you may be cutting out and doing a sugar fast, right? But inherently what you're doing is you're adding in all these chemicals back in if you're not careful. So that's why it's got to be clean eating when it comes to these things, to cut out these artificial sweeteners. And I'll give you this whole breakdown. You can go through the whole video of it to which ones you should do. I like to stay with more monk fruit and stevia if I had to have one. But in the process of cutting out sugars and cutting out the carbohydrates, that's what gets us to that cellular repair. Now, if you have a really tough time and you really struggle with your blood sugar and it still spikes up, or maybe sometimes eating is hard, one tool you could use is ACV, and it has a lot of known benefits for thousands of years. I have a ton of videos on this one as well. It really helps sluggish metabolisms and keeping insulin levels balanced. It's pretty remarkable, really. There's a lot of evidence behind it. And the American Diabetes Association found that if you have apple cider vinegar before a high carb meal, it actually prevents the blood sugar spike. So maybe you put a little bit of ACV, apple cider vinegar in, cap full of it before your meal. But the most interesting study came in Japan. It was a 12-week study with 144 adults. They took 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar a day. Some of them took 2, or they took a placebo drink. The only thing they were told to restrict is alcohol. Other than that, they continued to eat their normal eating habits and activity habits throughout the study. The group that took the placebo drink gained weight. The participants who took 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar lost 2.6 pounds and dropped 18% body fat. And the ones that took 2 tablespoons lost 4.2 pounds and 61% more weight loss just by adding an extra tablespoon a day. They didn't change anything else. So even if you're struggling with it, you're not doing well. Some people don't like it because it upsets their stomach, or they don't want to damage their teeth. That's why you just don't get a bottle of it and drink it, right? But I think it's beneficial if you did that. But don't make this mistake. Don't go to jump like something like Goli. What is this made out of? What is a gummy made out of? Sometimes we're trying to get nutrients into our kids or nutrients into ourselves like apple cider vinegar, and we use it and take it in the form of sugar. That's a gummy. You can't do that. The first 2 ingredients in any gummy vitamin is sugar. This blows my mind. Here we are suffering with 100 million Americans with fatty liver syndrome and liver disease. The delivery system to get nutrients into the body, one of them that impacts sugar levels in fatty liver is sugar. I'm like, who thought this was a good idea? Like, I get it. You chewing on a gummy, like who doesn't love candy? But let's not use sugar to get these ingredients in. Just use the regular one. If you take too much apple cider vinegar too long, it can deplete potassium levels. Now, all that means for you is that you want to take electrolytes with your apple cider vinegar if you're taking it in a liquid form. Otherwise, just take it in a capsule form. It's not the main focus, but I wanted to make sure that if you are struggling and you still have some bad meals, you might counteract it at least with ACV, but it's time for sugar fasting. I'm going to show you in a little bit exactly what to eat, not to eat, how to break this down and implement it. But let's move to step number 2. So if we lower the inflammation and the insulin, now how do we help purify and rapidly cleanse the liver? It's kind of like step 1 was cut off the things that are damaging it. Drugs, NSAIDs, packaged foods, lots of sugar, right? Let's cut some of those things off. Okay, now we've cut the source of the damage. Now, how do we go about repairing? That's step number 2, right? Makes sense. And try to get every form of these chemicals and things that have been built up in your liver out of there. Here's a big complicated chart, but this is how your liver works, okay? You ready for this one? I was excited to teach this to you. This is like geeky doctor stuff, but I'm gonna try to make it really simple for you. This is what your liver does, okay? There are 3 stages to detoxification, okay? So fat toxins to be excreted. So here's an example list. So the alcohol, I've got contaminants, there's food additives, and insecticides and metabolic end products. You're breaking down sugars, microorganisms, maybe EBV, right? Epstein-Barr virus, or maybe you've got like parasite or bacteria, pesticides. All these things need to be eliminated from the system, right? This is what a lot of us are concerned with, whether it's too much sugar, too many toxins, too much exposure, drugs, alcohol. This is what needs to be. No, so your body uses 2 phases, okay? 2 phases. Phase 1, a lot of people focus on too quickly because phase 1 is ampling up the detoxification. This is things like glutathione, right? It's the street sweeper of your body. It's literally driving around. Just picture the little guy in the street sweeper. When I was growing up in town in Decorah, Iowa, a small little town, and it had the big sweeper off the side and it's going by the curbs and he was going like 2 miles an hour. It took him probably all year to get around the whole town. That's like what glutathione's doing throughout your body. Just It's just sweeping stuff up, okay? But then there's like vitamin C, and there's B vitamins, and there's folates, and there's amino acids, and NAC, that's a big one that a lot of people use for detoxification. N-acetylcysteine, DIM, this is a big one we talk about with hormones. It breaks down estrogen and estrogen metabolites inside the body. This is like the stuff we like to focus on, antioxidants, right? And crank all that up and detox and flush our body. But what if your body's not ready to handle it yet? This is a big mistake with liver detoxification, because then we look at phase 2. Phase 2 actually needs to be primed right along or even ahead of phase 1, because phase 2 is what actually has to connect these toxins. When you go break these toxins down, it actually gets to get connected to an item that can make it exit the body. So phase 1, there's enzymes that break down toxins, but as a byproduct, free radicals are produced. It's completely dependent on these nutrients: B vitamins, carotenoids, vitamin C, vitamin E. But in phase 2, the free radicals have to be excreted from the body. So the body has to use sulfur, glutathione, amino acids to chemically bind them and make them water soluble. So it's dependent on amino acids, it's dependent on sulfur, even if you're allergic to it, okay, to attach these to make them water soluble, to then get them to what we'll call phase 3. Phase 3 is waste, get it to your digestive system and get it out of you. We don't want these toxins recirculating around the body. So the liver produces bile to eliminate these toxins. So cleansing, phase 1. Phase 2, binding. Phase 3, eliminating. Those are the 3 essentials. And so what sometimes we'll do is we'll do a lot of cleansing side of things, but if we can't convert it and use the sulfur and the amino acids to bind it, to make it water soluble, it won't be able to get out of us. And then it recirculates and retoxifies, or it builds up in the liver. It can actually harm it. And then step 3, we need enough bile, we need enough digestive health, which we're going to get to in our future steps here. Breaking this chart down, 3 phases of liver health. That is like a crazy amount of biochemistry and physiology of the body of how that works. But this is a simple, and this gives you kind of the nutrients that are needed at each stage. So let's talk about amplifying phase 1. Here's the foods and the ingredients that do it. The body has to have vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E. Vitamin E is the mother of antioxidants. It prevents free radical damage to other antioxidants. Like vitamin E protects C and A. It's crazy. Vitamin E is important. The minerals needed: zinc, copper, selenium, manganese. And then there's superfoods that really help aid this cleansing process. Asparagus. It's why your pee smells so bad when you eat it. It's detoxing out of you, pushing through the kidney. Beetroots, apples, lemons. These help break down stones and calcifications. Moringa, very powerful antioxidant. Fruits and vegetables in general, good sources of antioxidants. So we're loading up on these antioxidants, right? We're hoping to cleanse the body. Now we want to avoid, like we talked about, plastics are going to add problems, alcohol, charring our food, smoking our food, overcooking it. A lot of chemicals come with that. Smoking and drugs we talked about. And then just food additives and pesticides. These are all chemicals that can start to add up. So we want to cut off some of the sources. We talked about the main ones, I believe: drugs, packaged foods, sugar. And then don't overcook your food. You're well on your way if you're doing that and you're reducing alcohol. So this is amplifying phase 1 through these foods, okay? I'm going to bring this all together for you in a little bit. Then we want to prime phase 2, right? So we're getting detoxification starting to happen. We want to make sure we have enough binding going on. Amino acids and sulfur do this. Phase 1 is important, but priming phase 2 is even more important to make sure it's effective. So this is where amino acids come in: glycine, glutamine, methionine. That's a big one. SAMe. Have you heard of the supplement SAMe? That's methionine. SAMe, methionine. Very important in binding in the liver. Taurine is very important for the liver and the gallbladder. Cysteine, there's NAC. Cysteine is the parent, NAC is the child. NAC is the popular one. N-acetylcysteine, bone broth. Just from using collagen. These are excellent sources. Eat eggs, meat, seafood, turkey, beef, chicken. If this is tough, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you got to focus on beans, you got to focus on pea protein. That's going to get you a lot of these amino acids as well. So that's why I use collagen on a daily basis, because I'm not getting any dairy. So I'll have my collagen, I'll get my amino acids to prime this, to be building these, and then I'll focus on eating clean foods. A lot of days I'll have lemon water, because lemons are so good with their bioflavonoids at detoxifying the liver. You've probably seen my videos on this, millions of views. Drinking water with lemon squeezed in it. So there's some really easy foods you can put in. You can make your own bone broth. Sources of meats are going to give you amino acids. Pea protein is going to give you some amino acids. Collagen just kind of helps to prep. Phase 1, amplification. Phase 2, we're priming those amino acids. And then here's a big laundry list of superfoods for the liver. Okay, I don't want to overwhelm you with it, but I was just doing lots of research on what are the best foods you can put in for your liver. Okay, here's the laundry list of the big ones. Sulfur. That's what binds to the toxins to get them out of the body. Cruciferous vegetables would be the non-allergic way to get sulfur in for some of you that are sensitive to it. Kale, broccoli sprouts, even more. Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, watercress, turnips, arugula, radishes, alliums, onion, garlic, good sources of sulfur. Cruciferous vegetables, very important for hormones, very important for binding and eliminating toxins. Cold Choline protects the liver from damage, from free radical damage, from excess fat built up. It helps to manage cholesterol. It helps LDLs. It helps VLDLs. It helps move fat out of the liver. It's a very important B vitamin. Choline. Glucaret. Glucaret is in apples, grapefruits, bean sprouts, cruciferous vegetables. It's very important for balancing hormones, and it helps excrete, especially excess estrogen that's built up in the liver that creates a lot of hormonal imbalances in men, prostate issues, also in women with breast cancer issues. B6, B9, B12. These are the three most important B vitamins required for methylation and homocysteine breakdown. So when you're looking at this right here, if you can't turn B6, B12 into their methylated forms, those are the active forms, the liver can use it form. This is where people with the MTHFR gene mutation, 30+% of people have this. Their liver can't use the B6 and the B12. So then they are not able to use it for phase 1, cleansing of the liver. So then phase 2, you can't bind it and get the toxins out. So people with MTHFR, for this reason, are more toxic typically. That's why we need to then supplement or eat foods with methylated versions of B6, B9, and B12. Flavonoids, there's the lemon water. Citrus fruit, lemons, really helps to balance that phase 1, phase 2 activity. Berries, they're rich in antioxidants. Fruits, veggies, avocados, artichokes. Artichokes is a big one. Beets, really good for your heart. Turmeric, rosemary, ginger, they help detox the liver. Dandelion, tea normally, unless you cook up and eat some dandelions. Green tea, both very good. So this huge list of it. I'm gonna bring all these together for you a little bit, but I just wanted to know, okay, what are the absolute best foods I can put in with my liver? I wanna eat a lot of those. I wanna cut down sugars. I wanna cut down packaged foods. I wanna make sure I get amino acids in. So it's like all food based at the moment. We need to avoid some things and we add some things in, okay? Let's keep going and keep building. Then I'll bring this all home for you in a simple game plan. So now that we help lower inflammation, lower insulin, we're cleansing out the liver, we've gotta be able to eliminate it. The waste needs to be eliminated. Bile, gallbladder, kidneys, stool, skin, sweat, urine. That's how it goes out. So that's gotta be optimized. So we wanna make sure to help reduce the load on the liver, we need to eliminate the bloating and the irritable bowels and the trouble with gas and start to lower what's going on the inside with the organs. Because you can have fat on the outside, but it's this bogging down and this fat on the inside that creates a lot of problems around the organ. You can see the fat surrounding the digestive system, surrounding the liver, surrounding the heart. That's the stuff that'll kill you. See how this person has very little? I know we've got some unwanted fat on the outside, but when these toxins and the digestive system gets bogged down on the inside, this is what starts to happen. So for this fact, check this one out.
When you eat more than you need to and aren't as active as you should be, fat doesn't just build up around your waist. A toxic fat also builds up around your vital organs, releasing dangerous levels of chemicals that bring heart disease, diabetes, and cancer closer. Fat around your waist is bad, but toxic fat around your vital organs is worse.
I know the outside fat's a priority, but we need to get to that inside fat. Get that digestive system working, get it eliminating properly. It all ties together with this liver. So with that said, here's the research behind what I just said. The fat in your system, especially around your organs, hold an incredible amount of toxicity. 260% blood toxin increase for every 2 to 4 kilograms of weight loss. Significant increases, all the way up to a whopping 260% increase of release of toxins like PCBs and pesticides and DDTs and industrial processing chemicals and xenoestrogens. These all crush the hormones. They work against your body. They're super toxic. They are stored in the fat, especially around the organs. So if phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification pathways become overloaded, the toxins build up. Many of the toxins are fat soluble, so they're stored as fat. So toxin overloads leads to that internal fat, and the external fat, right, leads to this toxin overload that ties into depression and fatigue and anxiety and allergies and skin reaction, accelerated aging, degenerative disease, and it congests the liver and has difficulty metabolizing cholesterol and also metabolizing hormones, which has huge consequences on hormone function, let alone cancers. So as we begin to step through lowering insulin, cleansing your liver, you're going to start losing weight. This is my point. You're sugar fasting. The main weight that's going to burn off first, the first weight that goes is the weight right here. Not the weight on the hips, not the weight on the arms, that liver weight. That liver's got to go from here back to here. That's what the body knows it needs to normalize first, and then it's going to start eliminating it around your organs. That's why a lot of times like, like, well, I don't look as different, or the scale is not moving as fast as I want to, because you're losing inches by losing all of this weight. That's what we got to go after first. Now, as you release it, you're going to release a lot of toxins into the body. So this is, if you've ever done this yo-yoing, you have toxins in your body, you diet, you release a bunch of them, and then you don't eliminate them. You don't support digestion, you don't support the gall, you don't support the fat-soluble exiting system that your liver produces, and then you rebound and you restore the toxins and you gain the weight back. If we're properly detoxifying the liver, we have toxins, we lose weight, and we detox at the same time. We have toxins in our liver, we cleanse it, and we detox them out at the same time. So we've got to support the function and the exiting of the liver from retoxifying and the digestive system to eliminate these toxins, including your gallbladder. One huge nutrient that helps do this is NAC. It helps to detoxify the liver, which helps reduce headaches and fatigue and low moods. So N-acetylcysteine, powerful amino acid that helps your liver quickly neutralize the damaging effects of over-the-counter medications, and it elevates the level of glutathione in the system. That's what NAC does to the body. That's its main impact, is it increases that street sweeper. Solid studies on its impact on levels in the body of those liver enzymes going down. Second nutrient, to help calm and soothe the inflammation. It not only improves liver function, but it'll also ease joint pain and then prevent fatty liver from happening and fat accumulation in the liver cells. So it's the number one inflammation fighter for the liver, milk thistle. It's high in silymarin, which helps that liver glutathione, and the antioxidants to help cleanse this out. You've probably heard about milk thistle. I know we talked about it a little bit already, and its benefit on the liver health, but for good reason, because it works, right? But it's without a question the most tested natural remedy ever studied to maintaining inflammation, especially in the liver. Then number 3 is berberine. Berberine has been something I've tippy-toed around for a while because I want to make sure I got clear research on it. I leaned against it a little bit with my cholesterol support, but it is very important for liver healing. It's a specialist nutrient for combating age-related inflammation that causes damage in the liver. And it works really well for people to maintain healthy insulin levels, to boost the metabolism, to easily achieve a healthy weight, because it works so well for people with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that doctors are now actually leaning towards it and prescribing it to patients because the evidence is so clear. It can compete even with medications for what they're trying to do to the body, but it doesn't have that toxicity effect. So those are 3 very important ones to support that body, to support taking your liver from here to here, from looking like this to this. Because when you get the liver detox, you get the inflammation down, you get the insulin under control. Like I said, the 2 things we got to do is make sure that the elimination is then happening. That's where I think you need to be using digestive enzymes, and we need to help bile production. Because when your digestive system's not working to its full capacity, it means that your liver has to work even harder to flush toxins out of the body because your digestive system's not pulling its weight. It also means that your liver won't get the nutrients it needs to heal because your digestive system's not absorbing properly. And if your liver isn't properly producing enough bile, as we said before, it means that your body won't be able to break down the fats, which means you'll just pile on the weight instead of losing it. But you'll have more fat in your blood, which raises your blood pressure, and your triglycerides, which increases heart attack risk. No one wants that. I went through the heart attack thing with my dad, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So to help improve digestion, 5 of the most tested and effective digestive enzymes for gut health are amylase, cellulase, lactase, lipase, and protease. These break down carbohydrates, they break down fibers, they break down dairies, they break down fats, and they break down proteins. These 5 digestive enzymes help to aid liver health and digestive health. Significantly lower incidences of fatty liver when getting more of these digestive enzymes. Amylase, cellulase, lactase, lipase, protease. Carbs, fibers, dairy, fat, protein. Breaks down your foods. If you can break your food down better, you'll absorb it better. It's lighter on the digestive system. You're going to help it eliminate better. That's how we get these toxins out of there once the liver is done processing them. Then we got to support the gallbladder. So number 1 nutrient that I'll talk about is choline. There it is again. Choline helps transport fats out of the liver. Let me go back up here. Once we amplify, right? We got all these chemicals. Milk thistles, NAC, berberine, amino acids. We're putting these in. We're eating cruciferous foods. We're lowering our sugar levels. Now, after phase 2, they've been attached to a fat. They need to be eliminated and broken down and eliminated from the body. So the liver says, okay, here you go, digestive system. I'm dumping in these chemicals and these fats that we've processed. Now it relies on gall to get it out of the body. We got to pass it out. So choline helps transport the fats out of the liver and into cells where they're used for energy. This is super important for preventing gallstones because gallstones are caused by an excess of fatty cholesterol that fails to get broken down and gets stored in the gallbladder for too long. So they harden up like little balls, which can cause a lot of pain for people. Okay, I don't think we should be trying to force them out and doing extensive gallbladder cleanses. I think we just need to focus on better nutrition and better breaking down of these fats. The good news though is because choline increases the fat breakdown in your digestive system, it can actually stop gallstones from forming. So choline is that prevention mentioned, if you already have them, I would be getting on and eating more eggs. If you don't like eggs, we'll show you how to get it in supplementary. But the problem is, according to new findings by Arizona University, 90% of Americans aren't getting enough choline. Very important B vitamin. It's really bad news because on top of being one of the essentials for digestion and preventing gallstones, it's also vital for brain health. In fact, recently doctors gave choline to a group of men and women over the age of 40 in a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. That's the gold standard of scientific testing. And they found that giving them choline significantly increased brain health and memory in the people that took it in just 12 weeks. So choline, very important for preventing fatty liver, getting fats out of your liver, preventing gallstones, and your brain health. So that's kind of protecting the liver, getting the fats out of the liver, supporting the digestive process, but we've got to support that gallbladder itself. Help increase the bile production. It's super, super important. By the time we hit 40, the tubes and the ducts that are leading to and from your liver, they start to get clogged with environmental toxins, undigested fats, gallstones, scar tissue, metabolic waste. And by the time we're 50, you're probably only getting a fourth of the bile that your body needs to break down the fats, especially with the standard American diet, SAD diet. We're so hard on our gallbladder and our liver, especially above the age of 50. We're eating more of these bad fats, more of these processed foods, more of these chemicals oftentimes. So over the age of 50, it slows down even more. That's why once we increase bile production, incredible changes happen. Fat loss accelerates, cholesterol and blood sugar levels often balance out. People start feeling better than they have in years because of this little guy. The liver filters the toxins from the body, stores the energy and the nutrients, and then produces bile for fat digestion. The gallbladder stores the bile. So your liver is what produces the bile. Your gallbladder is just storage. So even if you don't have one, you're still producing some bile. We want to optimize that if you don't have one. But if you have a gallbladder, right, you at least can store some of it. We want to make sure choline's in there. We want to make sure and protect it so that it doesn't cause stones or it doesn't go kind of bad. So the gallbladder stores bile in quantities to be released after you consume a meal. It's anticipating the next fatty meal. The combined role of the liver and the gallbladder ensures proper fat metabolism and excretion of the toxins from the body. So how do you produce more bile? All of us need to. We need to keep that optimized, especially for those that don't have a gallbladder. Here's some of my favorite foods for it. Organic acids, apple cider vinegar, lemons, limes. That's why they're so effective. Those bioflavonoids and the organic acids found in them. That's why I like lemon water. That's why I like a little bit of capful of apple cider vinegar or taking the supplement form of it. Limes, use those all the time. These herbs, why they're so very effective at heavy metal detoxification. Parsley, cilantro, dandelion, milk thistle. Very good to optimize heavy metals because they optimize this gallbladder, this bile production to help eliminate those toxins, fat soluble, surround them and get them out of the body. Warming spices like ginger, turmeric, cinnamon. You don't need to overdo these things, right? Especially if you're on a blood thinner or something, please check with your doctor. But these are very good for lowering inflammation in the body and helping the liver out. Prebiotics, artichokes, super good. Radishes, asparagus for those kidneys, garlic, beets, chicory is a good prebiotic. It's all good for optimizing bile flow. Now, artichoke, the efficacy of artichoke leaf for fatty liver. It contains a compound called cyanarin, which stimulates the production and the release of bile from the liver. So it aids in this pilot double-blind randomized controls trial. They found it significantly helps those with fatty liver because it helps the bile. Artichokes, bile acids and ox bile. Now, ox bile powder and bile salts boost the amount of bile in your body, which then help you lose weight faster, fire up fat burning, so you get slimmer, healthier weight. They really stimulate this, and they're huge when it comes to the function of the liver. So ox bile salts, they're anti-inflammatory, antioxidants, sedatives, anticonvulsives, anti-allergen, anti-congestive, anti-diabetic, anti-spasmodic. This is a supplement for those that have sluggish bile production, which is most of us, and for those that don't have the gallbladder. Ox bile, use supplement, use the salts so the liver is optimized. And if you're using that regularly, it's going to help you digest your food better, which is less bloating and less, gas, helps that digestive system, helps you break down the fats, but it also helps eliminate those toxins. It has become apparent that bile acids are almost as important in hepatic, biliary, and intestinal diseases. Very important for digestive health, very important for gallbladder, the ducts, and the liver. So ox bile and bile salts. Taurine, it's another brilliant amino acid, which helps your body produce more of its own bile salts. So how do we stimulate more production of that liver bile salts? Does it long term? So that's how you stimulate your body's own. The biliary acid concentrations were also increased by taurine. Taurine supplementation increased taurine conjugated bile acids by 61%. That recent study saw that in just 2 weeks. So short amount of times, by adding some of these nutrients in, you can stimulate bile, you can stimulate your liver, you can stimulate the digestion and the breakdown of these fats and get these toxins out. Adding in the lemon water, adding in the artichokes, adding in the coffee. Men who drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day were 4% lower risk of developing gallstones than those that didn't. Men who drink 4 more cups have a 45% lower risk. I drink coffee organic, so there's no pesticides, so we're not bogging down the liver. It actually helps detoxify the liver. It helps stimulate the gallbladder. fewer gallstones. And then I add moringa into mine. So the moringa is one of the #1 foods for the liver as an antioxidant. So you're getting liver detoxification and gallbladder stimulation with your coffee. So many good foods that you can add in. Very straightforward. Avoid these things. Eat these things, add in a few nutrients to prime your liver, and so many of these studies, you can make a massive impact in 2 weeks. To bring all of this together, all I walked you through, I said, wait to get to right to this point. Simplify this, Dr. Livingood. Just tell me what I need to do. How do I make this really easy? Just rest assured, I beat it up and beat it up and beat it up. What is the food? What are the ingredients? What helps the liver? What helps the digestion? What else needs to be involved? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. How does the liver work? Here's the main study I want to show you. This is the one to just show you. You can 2 weeks. You can flip this thing around. You 100 million Americans. 2 weeks, if we got a little bit of discipline, a little bit of, no, I can't have that. This is what can happen. In this study, in a 2-week period of time, 14 days, right there, they did a body composition analysis and they looked at the fat in the liver. So they lost a little bit of weight, but in 14 days, individuals in the study that lowered their carbohydrate intake, restricted it, and ate the right foods, 44% reduction in fat in the liver. It also made significant impacts on the cholesterol. But the main thing is a 44% reduction when they went from, okay, this circle right here, carbohydrates made up about 40% of it on the inside. This is a standard American diet. Then there's some protein, and then there's fats, and most of the fats were unhealthy. Instead, we switched this to healthy fats, 70%, protein, and a little bit of carbohydrates. If we can take you from, instead of 40% carbohydrates, 40% fat, and 20% protein, that's standard what a lot of people are eating, and we go majority clean fats, clean proteins, and a little bit of carbs through veggies and the right foods. In 2 weeks, they made that switch for those people. This comes right from the study. 44% reduction. Okay, Dr. Livingood, what they eat? How do I do this? Make sure and get enough of the phase 1 nutrients that you talked about. Get enough of the phase 2 nutrients. Get enough of the amplifiers, the antioxidants, enough amino acids, glucarates, and the B vitamins. We talked about some incredible drinks. You're drinking a liver detoxifying drink, a water with lemon, dandelion tea or green tea. 2 weeks of that. But then what do we do, Dr. Livingood, to amp up? With the proper amounts of berberine and SAMe, methionine, that's the amino acid that helps to prime the liver. NAC, milk thistle, proven to support the liver health. Liver detoxifying foods, organic lemon juice, dandelion, black radish, artichoke, the most powerful source of all the liver aids. Then how do we support the gallbladder and the digestive health and the elimination? Digestive enzymes, the amylase, the lipase, the protease, taurine, choline, ox bile salts that detoxifies the liver and removes the toxins, reduces the age-related inflammation, which can weaken the liver function and the gallbladder problems, especially those with fatty liver. You can start doing these and start impacting the knots in your stomach and relaxing them today. Have your energy increase, decrease your headaches, decrease your aches and pains, lose stubborn belly fat, increase your immunity through the cold and flu season especially, greater focus, greater mood, start sleeping better because you're improving the most important detox organ from all the poisons and the pollutants, the alcohol. Just make you look and feel better, right? There's no way you're not. There's 100 million people, 46% of Americans dealing with the condition. So my goal, my direction, my purpose as a doctor, serving my purpose that God put me on this planet for, is how many of you can I get from here with this compromised organs and fat and broken down liver to here as fast as possible. 2 weeks. You can do 2 weeks, but I am challenging you to take the challenge for 2 weeks with me. Focus on the superfoods. Drink the lemon water or one of the detoxing liver drinks. Now, ideally you'd do 4 weeks, but 2 will get a 46% improvement and beyond, but you got to make the difference. You got to make the change. You got to get 1% better. Better than where you were yesterday.